It's September 27th, 1969. Two college students are lying on a blanket by the water at Lake Berryessa, a reservoir north of Napa in the California wine country. A warm Saturday afternoon. Quiet. The kind of day where the world feels perfectly uneventful. Then one of them notices a man standing in the tree line, about 70 feet away, just watching. He steps out from behind a tree and pulls a hood over his head. Black, homemade, square. An executioner's hood, with clip-on sunglasses so you can't see his eyes at all. On his chest, a bib with a white circle cross symbol stitched onto it. In his right hand, a knife. He walks straight toward them. Cecilia grabs Brian's arm. There's nowhere to run. They tell themselves it's a robbery, that they'll hand over their wallets and drive home, and that will be the end of it. They're wrong. For the next 5 years, this man will send coded messages to newspapers, taunt police by name, and claim to have killed 37 people. This is the story of the Zodiac Killer. December 20th, 1968. Lake Herman Road, just outside Benicia. It's cold, late at night, and 17-year-old David Faraday and 16-year-old Betty Lou Jensen are on their first date, parked on a remote lover's lane. Shortly before midnight, a car pulls up behind them and stops. Someone gets out and walks towards them in the dark. David thinks it's a patrol officer. He doesn't move. Then, a shot through the window. David is hit in the head. Betty Lou throws open her door and runs for her life. She doesn't make it 10 feet before she's shot in the back. Both of them are dead by the time anyone finds them. No witnesses, no motive, no suspect, and nobody has any idea that this is just the beginning. 6 months later, on the 4th of July, 1969, Darlene Farron and Michael Mageau are parked at Blue Rock Springs Park, 2 miles from where Betty Lou and David were killed. Around midnight, a car pulls up next to them, sits in the dark for a moment, then drives off. 5 minutes later, it comes back. A man steps out with a flashlight. They think it's a cop. It isn't. The attacker opens fire. Darlene is hit. Mageau is hit. About 40 minutes later, the killer calls Vallejo police from a payphone.
Vallejo Police Department.
I want to report a double murder. Please go 1 mile east on Columbus Parkway, public park. You'll find kids in a brown car. They were shot with a 9mm Luger. I also killed those kids last year. Goodbye.
27 days later, on July 31st, 3 newspapers each receive part of a cryptogram. 408 symbols total, split into thirds. He demands front-page publication by August 1st, or the killings will continue. Each fragment is signed with the same symbol, a circle over a cross. The FBI can't crack it. The police can't crack it. A week later, a school teacher and his wife from Salinas decipher at their kitchen table. I like killing people because it is so much fun. Man is the most dangerous animal of all. Then another letter arrives, and with it, a name. This is the Zodiac speaking. America is terrified, and what no one knows yet is that he's only just getting started. September 27th, 1969. Brian Hartnell and Cecilia Shepard are lying on a blanket by the water. A man steps out of the trees. He pulls a black hood over his head. Square, homemade, with a circle cross symbol stitched onto the chest. He walks towards them and speaks calmly. An escaped convict, he says, who needs their car and money to get to Mexico. Brian cooperates immediately, handing over his wallet and keys. For a moment, it genuinely seems like this might end without anyone getting hurt. Then he pulls out pre-cut lengths of clothesline and orders Cecilia to tie Brian's wrists. He tightens them himself because her knots are too loose, then ties Cecilia, face down in the dirt, completely helpless. I'm going to have to stab you people. He draws a long knife and stabs Brian 6 times in the back. Then he turns to Cecilia, 10 times, 5 in the back and 5 in the front as she twists trying to get away. Then, as if finishing a to-do list, he walks to their car and writes on the door with a black felt-tip pen the dates of the Lake Herman Road and Blue Rock Springs attacks, the location, the time. Above it all, the symbol, the same one he's been signing his letters with since July. A nearby fisherman hears screaming and gets help. Cecilia is still conscious when the first officer arrives. She manages to describe her attacker in detail before slipping into a coma on the way to the hospital. She dies 2 days later. Brian survives.
At the beginning, I did think I was going to die. I considered him a robber. I had absolutely no thought that he was anything but that. When we were at this robbery stage, I didn't consider any real threat to my life or to the girl or anything.
Did he seem as though he would like your help at all?
No, he didn't, and he didn't even end up taking the money.
That same evening, the Zodiac calls Napa County Dispatch. I want to report a murder. No, a double murder. He leaves the phone off the hook. Police find a partial palm print on the receiver, too incomplete to match. He's killed 4 people. He's written to the newspapers, and nobody has come close to catching him. 2 weeks later, October 11th, 1969, a cab driver named Paul Stein picks up a fare in downtown San Francisco. The passenger is a stocky white man with a crew cut and glasses, polite, unremarkable. He wants to go to Presidio Heights. When they arrive at Washington and Maple, the passenger asks to go 1 more block. Stein pulls forward. Across the street, 3 teenagers are looking out an upstairs window. They see the yellow cab stop under the streetlight. A man in the front seat leans toward the driver. They assume he's paying. Then something doesn't look right. One of them grabs binoculars. The man steps out, opens the rear door, and begins methodically wiping down every surface he touched. The dashboard, the handles, the seat. He tears a piece of fabric from the driver's shirt. Then he walks north on Cherry Street without hurrying, without looking back. Paul Stein is dead. Single gunshot to the head. Police arrive within 4 minutes. The teenagers give a detailed description. White male, 25 to 30, stocky, crew cut, glasses. But through some miscommunication, the radio dispatch had gone out describing a black male suspect. 3 days later, the Chronicle receives a letter with a piece of Stein's bloodstained shirt enclosed. The letter mocks the police. It threatens school buses. San Francisco goes on high alert for weeks. The attack never comes. The letters keep coming for years. Taunting notes, unsolvable ciphers, one claiming 37 victims total. And then, nothing. Somewhere out there, a man goes quietly back to his life. Over the following decades, lead detective Dave Toschi fills 8 filing cabinets with suspects, tips, and dead ends. Thousands of letters come in from the public. hundreds of people are interviewed. The profile that emerges? An educated white male, late 20s or 30s, holding down a normal job somewhere nobody would look twice. Someone completely invisible. Eventually, one name keeps surfacing. Arthur Leigh Allen, convicted child molester, former Navy man, elementary school teacher in Atascadero until 1968, when he was dismissed following allegations of misconduct with pupils.
I'm not the Zodiac killer. I know that. I know that deep in my soul. I've never been known for good luck, and I guess this is pretty much living proof of it.
How do you live with this?
It's difficult as hell, and it can be it could be terribly depressing. And if I deserved any of it, that would be something different, but I don't.
He wore a Zodiac brand watch, the same circle cross logo as the killer's symbol. According to former acquaintances, he talked about wanting to hunt human beings and call himself Zodiac. Investigators believe he may have been in the Vallejo area on the 4th of July, 1969. His former students remember him as kind and attentive, someone who went out of his way to make them feel special. Look closer, and a darker pattern surfaces. Inappropriate attention toward young girls that made parents uneasy, though no one could quite put a name to it at the time. One of those students was Connie Seawater. Decades later, in an account that has never been independently verified, she describes a trip to the California coast in June 1963. Mr. Allen telling them to stay in the car, coming back with blood on his hands, shoving her away when she tried to help, driving off without a word. That same afternoon, two teenagers, Linda Edwards and Robert Domingos, were found shot dead on a beach a few miles away. Their bodies left in a wooden shack with pre-cut rope at the scene. Authorities have never officially linked that case to the Zodiac killings, though some researchers have noted the similarities. Police search Allen's home multiple times over the years. They find weapons, bomb-making components, barrels of chemicals, but nothing places him at a crime scene. His fingerprints don't match the print from Stein's cab. His handwriting doesn't conclusively match the letters. DNA tests in 2002 come back inconclusive. Arthur Leigh Allen dies in 1992. He is never charged with anything. The case doesn't close. It just goes cold. In 2020, a team of amateur codebreakers finally solves the 340 symbol cipher, 51 years after it arrived. The message reads, "I hope you are having lots of fun trying to catch me." 5 people confirmed dead: Paul Stein, Cecilia Shepard, Darlene Farron, David Faraday, Betty Lou Jensen. The Zodiac claimed 37. Police could only account for 5. They were ordinary people. A cab driver putting himself through graduate school. 2 college students enjoying the prime of their lives. 2 teenagers on a first date. People who were in the wrong place and whose families spent decades wondering why no one seemed to be looking for answers. Connie Seawater still struggles with what she knows, or thinks she knows. She spent years feeling guilty for even suspecting her old teacher. "I feel like I'm betraying him," she says, "but he needs to be told on." The case remains officially open. No one has ever been charged. No one has ever confessed. Other suspects have come and gone over the decades, each new theory sending investigators back through the same files, the same evidence, the same dead ends. The man who called himself the Zodiac sent cryptograms to newspapers, taunted detectives by name, and calmly wrote his own scorecard on a car door at Lake Berryessa. Then he disappeared into whatever ordinary life he was living between the killings. He had a job, he had an address, he read the newspapers and saw his own name everywhere, and he never told anyone. nobody knows who he was, because he was never caught.